day, something interesting happened. We planned a trip, so I woke up excited, the excitement of a trip, packed, got everything ready on time. And guess what? It failed. The driver failed us. Imagine how excited you are to go to a trip. I've not been in a trip even this year. I don't go to trips. And this was the first time I had decided, okay, fine, I'm getting out of town for even a day. And then that failed. But the most interesting thing again that happened is that we had some clients that I attended to, and they actually bought. So that told me something, that everything happens for a reason. Those conversations, those clients that I attended to would have actually been missed, or it would have not turned out the way it did if I went for that trip. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brightstar, and this one is just not another star. This one is beautiful, bold, brave, bright, brilliant, and a little bit extra. Bright by name, bold by purpose. Bright by name, star by nature. Built from grass to grace and rising through skies, and refusing to be too dim. On this channel, I am not just Brightstar. I am your online bestie. Here, we laugh, we shine together, and we grow together. If you've ever lost your light, I hope you find some of it here. So if you are here for the lessons, for the laughter, and for a little extra to keep your day, this is the best place. And I hope you always remember to never let anyone dim your light, because your life is too precious. And I hope you always remember to never let anyone dim your light. And that is why here is all things bold, all things Brightstar. On to today's video. As I was saying, we planned a trip and it failed. Everything was set, bags were ready. It was just to be picked and dropped, and then out of nowhere, boom, the driver kept saying, I am 10 minutes away, I am 10 minutes away, until by the end of the day, we decided to cancel because we were too late to go where we were supposed to. At first, I was supposed to be frustrated and angry, and instead of being that, I asked myself, what can I do today? Which is a lot of growth my side, because every time something doesn't go my way, or every time I plan something, it doesn't succeed, I would always crash for like a week or two. And then I cry, and then I feel bad. But today, it was not me. I said, not today, Satan. Because everything today was actually trying to fail. Everything was trying to fail. Like, even my hair, it had issues. Everything was not working. But I said, you know what? You'll not get me today. And so I decided to focus my perspective onto something else, and that was the business. Answering clients, talking to clients. It was like God was telling me, you planned today for adventure, but maybe it's a breakthrough. And honestly, I was so surprised. I was like, what if I would have gone? This would have not happened. I would have not experienced the amazing people that I had to interact with, both online and in person. And that tells you, whenever you're going through something, you might feel as if you're frustrated. Like us, we were very frustrated in the morning. I actually felt like calling that driver and giving him a whole TED talk, pep talk, and teach him not to break us the way he broke ours. But then I didn't do that. I just, but it taught me, like, sometimes when you feel you're so frustrated, God might actually be protecting you from something or redirecting you. Sometimes rejection is just a redirection, and I saw that practically today. I want you to picture your life. What are some of the things that you really wanted and maybe they never worked, and then you ended up realizing God was actually saving you for something? You realized God was saving you from something. Maybe it was that relationship that you really wanted and then it didn't succeed, but God was saving you from Satan himself or Satan herself. Maybe it was that career or that job you wanted and then it didn't go the way you wanted, but you realized later you're actually happier. Or maybe it was a dream, a trip you want, something that you really, really wanted, a business project that you're trying and it didn't work. Then you realize, oh, God was saving you. Sometimes, as I said, rejection is redirection. And sometimes failing in something is because God has a better plan for you. And I think we do not thank Him enough for doing that. Most of the time, we want to trust our own plans. And if they don't work, we end up so frustrated. Myself, what are some of examples of things that have failed? First, Oh, there's so many. I do not know which one to start with. But first, it was the high school that I wanted to go to. I got selected to the high school that I wanted to go to. But then something here and there happened, and I got a scholarship, and I did not want to go to the school that the scholarship was taking me, and then I refused. You know what that did to me? It actually led me to a private school that I had everything fully sponsored, and I lived like a rich kid. No wonder I behaved like one. Since I was in high school, I was always interacting with the rich kids because God had a better plan for me. God had a better high school for me. I needed to live with the rich so that I learned their mannerisms, you know. I mean, I was just a village girl. Probably my English will not be this nice if I did not go to that school. And when I was in that school, I was like the star. I would be invited in a lot of families. I would go live with them until they get tired of me, and I have to go to another family. It's just interesting how my life turned out from that school. And that is even where I got my biggest blessing. That is, she's called Mom Rose, the lady who took care of me. She saw me giving a speech still in my high school. My whole life changed just because God changed the high school that I thought I wanted and took me to the one that He knew I was going to get my breakthrough. Now, when it comes to my business, I did not plan to be in business. I remember when we were in campus and we were having a conversation with, my fellow student leaders. I became a student leader, by the way. This girl was always a dreamer. Don't see me here and say, oh, she started the other day. No, I started long ago. But honestly, when I was running for the finance secretary position, I was just doing it. I was doing it for fun. I did not think people were going to elect me, but they elected me. So we were having a conversation about the future leadership of this country, and the president then, he said if he ever becomes the president of Kenya, he was going to appoint me to be the cabinet secretary for finance, because I was a finance secretary of my school. And then the secretary general at that time just laughed. He just laughed, and he said, "Who? If you dare give Star that kind of a position, she's gonna go pick all the money that belongs to this country and go giving it out in the streets." Like, people did not think that I could handle money or I could actually run a business. But you see God's plan. And even myself, I had written myself off from business. I had said I was going to be maybe a very big media mogul. I was going to be a big star. I was going to work for an NGO. I was going to either be a singer. Oh yeah, that was before a family I lived with discouraged me. I had other dreams, but not business. Until I was so depressed, and the only thing I could do was business because I had a friend who was in business. And I remember even the day that my friend started teaching me the business, I told him, I am here for only 1 month, then I'm gonna go chase my goals. Until today, this is the time I'm learning to embrace the business. I never embraced it because I always knew I'm on the move. This is not a place I'm supposed to be. But God knew I could actually run a business. My plans of working for other organizations were not His plans. And how is it going? It's going on so well because that is how I learned to handle people. That is how I grew. I used to be so delicate and so emotional. I used to cry every time. Business has grown me. Business has taught me lessons that maybe no school will ever teach me. Because God's plan for my life was better. God's plan for my life was better. And I want you to know God's plan for your life is better. You might be feeling like, maybe that thing that you really, really wanted was your whole life. But let me ask you, how many of you watching this never married your high school crushes or your sweethearts? And now you look at them and you're like, oh God, thank you. You saved me from that. What was that again? What was that again? It reminds me, I met a boy I used to have a crush on when I was in primary. He was like the star. I've always wanted them when they are stars. Last year I met this boy who was like the star in our primary. Not our primary, he was in a neighboring primary school. He was a dancer. And I think I really had a crush on that boy. He was like, But then I met him. He came to my office like through one of my friends. Tell me why he was chewing cat. Tell me why he was totally so different from the boy I saw when we were younger. And I was telling myself, I never dated this boy. He had a girlfriend, unfortunately. He had a girlfriend when I was having the crush, and I don't think he knew I had a crush on him. But I was looking at it and I was like, oh God, what if I married that? Or if I dated him? He is totally super, super different. He was just chewing car. He is just something different from what I am right now. And I was like, God, if you would have asked me as a child, I would have said that was a man I would have wanted maybe to be close with. But I was very small, so it wasn't like, it's just the way you get excited. Like, it wasn't like the romantic kind of, it was like the way a child, you notice, okay, I really like that boy. And honestly, I've had situations where God took me from something to another thing, and I was very bitter at that point. And then I realized God was actually protecting me. Same thing as my hand failing. You know, my hands also failed. Like, I had an accident and the plaster was done the wrong way. For the longest time of my life, I was so bitter. I used to ask myself, God, why would you do that? Like, why? Like, I kept asking God, like, through even writings, like, why would you do that? Like, you created me normally. If you wanted me to have my hand like this, I should have been born like that. Because that would have told me that was your initial plan. So what is it that made you change your mind on me? You bring me on this world, and then you decide to take my hand. But then, now that I'm older, I look at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, Brightstar, your hand is still the reason why you do not have a child. You are not married. You are not, like, you do not become a teen mom. It's because I knew with my hand I would need money. Like, that was always at the back of my mind. And my grandfather also used to tell me, my grandmother used to tell me, with your hand, you're gonna need a lot of people to help you. And even right now, I have to be helped a lot of things. Even when our trip was failing in the morning, the person who helps me was late, and I packed. You know how tired I got? I got so tired. Like, most of my things are done for me because I knew with my hand I cannot do so much physically, so I had to work hard. What does that teach you? That God knew. God will always go beyond you. God will always go before you. And He will always do things that might look like you're failing at the moment, things that might look like you're not okay at the moment, but He's actually redirecting you to the steps that you want. And lastly, I did not decide to do YouTube until recently. And why did that happen? It's because last year I went through a lot of challenges in business, and I was alone for most of the time. And that time when I would be alone, I would just be scrolling. And I realized that I actually love listening to motivational talks. And I've always done that. I had never taken time with myself to know what I love about myself. Okay? And I realized every time, even in the morning when I wake up at around 6, the first thing I want to do is listen to motivational talks. Before I sleep, that's what I want to do. I want to read motivational talks. Whenever I'm giving short videos online, I'm always encouraging people. Like, my whole life is motivation, and it took me to be down, to be broken, to have my business going left, right, and center for me to decide to do YouTube. So what does that tell you? I had to be on my lowest moment for me to start talking in this platform. And I always knew I wanted to do YouTube, but I kept feeling, I do not want to be a role model. Like, I do not want to be that girl who encourages people. So I kept on postponing it. But God will take you down. He'll make sure you are on your knees for you to discover the purpose that you have. And then I also discovered I don't like going outside. I just like being indoors. So I set this place and I was like, okay, I'm going to be doing my videos indoors. You see? You see? Redirection. Everything happens for a reason. Why? Positioning. Sometimes closed doors that had been locked will open with delays that happen in your life, with things that go negative in your life. Preparation. Every failure teaches you discipline and resilience and protection. Some things fail because they would have harmed you, or they would have actually cost you way more. I remember on protection, I remember there was a time when I was still in high school. So I would be dropped by one of the families to the stage if I'm going to my grandparents. And so there would be 2 buses, one for 10 a.m. and another one for 1 p.m. And so I would always prefer going with the 10 a.m. bus so that I get to the village around 2 to 3 p.m. Now, this day, this ladies, the ladies, I mean the mom and the daughter, they dropped me on the stage. I was always a chatty girl. I was always a chatty girl. So now that stage, I had already made friends with everybody. So I was going to say hi to them, greeting them. And you know, our school uniform used to be beautiful. It used to be beautiful. It was like a half coat and a skirt. Oh, that hits me. Now I wear suits. Like, God was preparing me for that. But we used to wear a half coat and a skirt and a white shirt. It looked so beautiful. And the half coat and skirt was checked. So it was really, really beautiful. Anyway, so as I was saying, so I'm chatting and I'm saying hello to everybody and I'm having this fun, okay? Like, I forgot that my bus was coming. So it was one of those people, they were selling bananas, not bananas, what is it called? Pineapples. Yeah. So it's like the bus is here. Then I've moved to say hi to everybody. I was always a chatty girl. So anyway, so one of them calls me and tells me your bus is here. And then that bus was very punctual. Like it would just stop, drop, and go. Like that's why I would prefer. Like there are other matatus, there are other vehicles, but that one you were sure that you'll take only 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours at most to get to the village, and that's why a lot of people prefer it. Like the management of that bus was really good. So he tells me your bus is there. And you see, if it's standing there already and I had not seen it, it means it will not be there for like 2 minutes. So I started running. And then I ran. And then I ran. Guess what happened? I got in a ditch. Like I just laid and then I fell on the ditch. Like I got in the ditch. Then my slit. I've never shared that story with anyone. This is the first place. Yeah, know. Claire is behind the camera and is even laughing. My slit just, like it was torn. Like my skirt went into two, like that. And then thank God I had a petticoat. I was a girl from the village, I had a petticoat. But my shirt was muddy. And so one of the ladies ran and gave me lasso. Lasso is like sugar, like something that you put on, you wrap. So she wrapped me up and then they had to get a needle and a thread and do it for me. You know how long that took? Almost 30 to 40 minutes. I missed my bus and I was so frustrated. I had to wait again for like 2 hours for the 1 p.m. bus. On our way, we found out that bus that left me had actually rolled and no one in that bus survived. So for me to have that accident, God was actually preparing, like God was protecting me. It was not yet my time. And that thing as a child shook me. I kept wondering I would have been in that bus and no one, not even a single person, meaning I would have not survived. But God was like, hey, this girl is not famous yet. This girl is not successful yet. So she cannot die. And so that was protection. It failed so that I could be protected and alive and be talking to you here today. How can you turn frustration into opportunity? Anytime you go through something that is frustrating you or that has failed or it's not working, you can always start by pausing. Just pause. Take it in, breathe in, and say, okay, this has happened, but I'm not died, right? Then you pivot. By pivoting, you ask yourself, what is it that I can do instead? What is it that I can do in this moment? How can I still make sure that my day is not ruined or, it does not end up in a very bad state? And then you can persist. Do not stop no matter how many frustrations you get. Life has a way of testing you and breaking you before you succeed. It will make sure it frustrates you. And that's the difference between more successful people and people who are not successful. They are very talented people, very hardworking people who've never succeeded because every time they try something and then it doesn't work, they give up on their dreams. But even if a child, when they start working, do you hear the parents say, my child has worked for two times and they cannot walk anymore because they failed? No, parents always encourage the kids. And your life is just the same. It's like you are a kid and it does not matter even if you're 30, 40, 60. It does not matter. You're walking this life for the first time. You are trying it. You are learning in the process. You're making mistakes. And 1 frustration, 2 frustrations should actually not stop you. And life sometimes can be a driver. Like the driver today, it can leave you stranded. But you know what happens? You can always find another home. You can always find another way to live your day, no matter how stranded you are. Bestie, I know there's something for you to click on this video to watch. There's something in your life that you're struggling with or something that has failed recently. I am not a magician, so I cannot tell you I know what it is. But whatever it is, I want you to know that failure, don't let it convince you that it's the end. Maybe it's a trip like ours. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a failed career. Maybe it's a job that you got fired. Maybe it's a business that did not work. Or maybe it's your health that failed. Maybe you discovered you have a disease or something that you are dealing with. Maybe it's just something that you've always wanted your whole life and then it just failed. Please, before you kill yourself with crying at night and blaming God and wishing that life was different, ask yourself this. What blessing is hidden in this thing? What blessing is in disguise? What direction, what redirection is God giving me? Because trust you me, everything, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful it happens for a reason. There is a reason, even if you cannot see it yet. Your delays are not deniers. Your finals are not your finale. Every disappointment in life carries a hidden opportunity. I hope you always remember that. And we have come to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching, my online family, and I hope to see you in the next video. And always remember, everything, no matter how challenging it is, it happens for a reason. It will either teach you, propel you to the next step, or it will actually protect you from something that would have drained or destroyed you. Now, Bestie, before we go, please, what is that one thing that you are actually grateful that it happened to you? What is that one negative thing that happened to you? And now you look back at it and like, oh God, thank you that happened. What is that thing that you count as blessing, yet for the longest time you thought it was a curse? What is that one thing that you feel, oh God, I'm sorry I was not grateful? Write it down there. Let's discuss, let's share, and let's learn and shine together. Bye bye, and see you in the next video.